Hi, I'm Fred, and this is how to wire up a 2007 Yamaha FC6 for accessories. The problem you have when wiring a bike normally is that as you add one accessory after another, you wind up with a big mess at your battery because you've hooked up every wire individually. I decided to do it right on this bike. The first thing you need to find is a source of switched power. I went from the ignition switch connector down inside the frame rail here, ran up through the stock wiring housing, and then out here. This one wire goes over to a relay connector and then a relay, and then back to ground at the battery terminal. From the positive side of the battery terminal, you've got the stock wiring running up to your starter relay. I tied in there a second wire, which is this thinner red one, and then that goes to a Radio Shack fuse holder. This has a 30 amp fuse inside. This again runs around to the relay on the switched side. So it only has power when the bike is turned on. From there, the wire which you can see that is black and then turns red runs down through the frame and around to this black item, which is an AutoZone 4-position fuse box. There is also a second wire coming off of the negative terminal of the battery, which runs to this white block that has been stuck on top. This is the main ground. You've got 4 16-gauge wires here, each one going into one of these lockdown blocks. This is a common device at Radio Shack. It's called a Euro-style terminal strip. I'm using this for my grounds. I plan to get another one and use it for my leads later on, but they were out. From the fuse holder, we have 4 positions. This one is for the air horn on the motorcycle. The other 3 are currently empty. But the plan is one of them will be for the accessories that plug in on the right-hand side of the fairing. Another one is for accessories that plug in on the left-hand side of the fairing, and the final one is reserved for heated grips, which, like the air horn, draw enough power that they warrant their own fuse. From this fuse block, you have a cable running forward with several wires inside it. There is a switched signal for the horn, power to the horn, power to the right side of the fairing, and a ground. This runs through the fairing bracket here around the instruments. This is a hollow tube that comes down, over, around, and back up and exits on the other side. I have to move around here to the other side of the motorcycle. Sorry for any motion sickness. It comes down on this side, tucks around behind the headlight housing, and then down to the air horn. You can see I've welded up my own mount for the air horn. Ties in at the upper headlight mount, the turn signal mount, and in the rear, it is not bolted in place right now, but that is the mount where your fairing inner panel bolts on. You can see there is a second relay here. This is the horn relay for the Nautilus horn. I like to keep that as close as possible to the horn. This yellow wire is the power for the accessories on the right-hand side of the fairing. I don't have the lockdown block to hook it up yet, so it has been very unprofessionally tied in place. Don't be like this. In front here, I have another Radio Shack terminal strip for my grounds on the right-hand side of the fairing. The Nautilus horn is grounded to this, and other devices will be as well. Once I pick up a second terminal strip, that will be bolted in place here, giving me positive connections as well on both sides of the motorcycle. To distinguish the positive and negative terminal strips from each other, the positive ones have red heat shrink on them. The reason I'm not using this terminal strip is because it's not rated for the correct amperage. I went out and bought the wrong one, so that is garbage. Anyway, that is how you wire up a motorcycle the right way. Thanks for listening.